Demonetization, how to regulate the digital payment industry. How India is being transformed from traditional payment methods. What are the requirements of digital transaction regulatory framework? What is the role of RBI in regulating payment industry? What are the hurdles in making India a cashless economy? What factors will realize India's dream to go for cashless economy? GS Paper 3, Indian Economy. What is the context about? The 8th of November 2016 event in India is closely linked to the 11th of September 2001 event in the US. The terror attacks led to a large exodus of funds, and failures of payment systems brought in the federal banks in the US to aid the system. Correspondingly, the demonetization event in India has posed for our scrutiny the robustness of our payment systems infrastructure. How India is being transformed from traditional payment methods. India has seen a rapid reduction of the intermediaries in the payments system that was once restricted to only banks and their traditional clearing facilities. Large number of entrepreneurs are interested in the recent digital payment interfaces such as prepaid instruments like mobile wallets. These will replace the traditional clearing systems such as RTGS, real-time gross settlement, as also online facilities provided by banks and telecom companies. Especially the unbanked segments of society, poised at a juncture, people are transforming payment habits by embracing a particular payment mode. What are the requirements of digital transaction regulatory framework? It needs a comprehensive legal framework assessment that can identify and set out the rights and obligations of each payment system participant in the ordinary course of business and in adverse conditions is a robust one. This will require predictability on how the regulator applies its rules and regulations, circulars and guidelines, and oversees its applicability to payment system operators. It will have to cover the plethora of instruments and test them for conflicts such as with the new insolvency and banking laws. Seamless cooperation between the bodies involved in policy and regulatory development must be forged so as to oversee consistent application of rules and regulations governing all participants. The playing ground for entrepreneurs must be leveled so as to provide confidence, stability and integrity in the financial system. What is the role of RBI in regulating payment industry? RBI is the sole regulator for the payments industry space and derives its power to oversee the payments industry from the Payment and Settlement Systems Act, 2007, and its accompanying regulations, 2008. Several circulars and guidelines have been issued for the regulator to govern prepaid instruments, intermediaries and the payment system operator. Electronic wallets and mobile banking are exempted from KYC compliance for transactions under Rs 20,000 and has relaxed the security measure of requiring two-factor authorization only when one loads money from other banking instruments. RBI has also ensured there is not much float pending with prepaid instruments by requiring certain prepaid instruments to seek its approval and exempting those that facilitate simultaneous settlement and clearance. What are the hurdles in making India a cashless economy? A large part of the population is still outside the banking net and not in a position to reduce its dependence on cash. According to a 2015 report by PricewaterhouseCoopers, India's unbanked population was at 233 million. Even for people with access to banking, the ability to use their debit or credit card is limited because there are only about 1.46 million points of sale which accept payments through cards. About 90% of the workforce, which produces nearly half of the output in the country, works in the unorganized sector. it will not be easy for the informal sector to become cashless. There is a general preference for cash transactions in India. Merchants prefer not to keep records in order to avoid paying taxes, and buyers find cash payments more convenient. What factors will realize India's dream to go for cashless economy? The availability and quality of telecom network will play an important role. As one of the biggest beneficiaries of this transition, banks and related service providers will have to constantly invest in technology in order to improve security and ease of transaction. People will only shift when it's easier, certain and safe to make cashless transactions. The government will also need to play its part. It will have to find ways to incentivize cashless transactions and discourage cash payments. The government will have to create conditions, not necessarily by creating cash shortages, to push cashless transactions to a threshold level after which the network effect will take over.